Hello, welcome. So today we're going to learn how to make an outer embossed logo mockup like this. This is for beginners to teach you how to make or prepare your logo mockup from scratch, the best practice. Okay, so this material or resources will be provided you in the link in the description. I'll provide you the link so you just download the materials and then reuse it for your projects. I hope that's understood. This lesson is intended to be produced once every week, though we have a playlist for mockup for beginners. Okay, you're going to see that playlist in the description of this video. Check that out also. And also a link we made available. Before I talk about the link, let us know that we have a resource platform where you get mockups of different variables for website designers and for brand identity designers. So these mockups are premium mockups that we actually handily prepare for our students, for our web design courses and our brand identity design courses. But don't panic. If you are not part of our student yet, you can also have access to this platform through some of this material through our other platform on Telegram. Our Design Lab mentorship platform is made available and we provide at least once a resource mockup every weekend. Okay, so if you're not in this platform, make sure you are in this platform. The link to this platform is made available also in the description of this video. So if you have not joined us yet, make sure to join us. Apart from that, you get more other amazing lessons about business in design inside of this platform. Okay, so that is it for now. Let's get into business. So if you download the file, you find something like this 3D gold. And what you're going to do from here is to double click. If you don't find the file in this format, you download a file called zip on RAR or unzip. So that particular file will help you to unzip this file. This file is actually zipped in a way that the files are protected and reduced in size. So it's compressed, that's the word. So you use a zip extractor or a RAR extractor to extract the file. So once you have the zip extractor installed, it's just like an application and a normal system application. Just search that online. There are free versions. So once you have it installed, all you need to do is to double click on the file. Two things you can do. You can either select on these two and drag them out to your desktop, or right from here, you can double click on the mockup file itself from here to upload it immediately to your Photoshop. So make sure your Photoshop is open. Even if your Photoshop is not open, it will automatically request for your Photoshop to be opened and your Photoshop will launch immediately. Okay, so if you have it there, that's cool. If you also have it in the desktop, just double click on it and it will be populated in your in a new artboard in your Photoshop application. So once it's here, we need to get in and learn how to use this mockup. So now, if you look at the right corner, for beginners, you find out we have some series of files you might not understand very well from here. But don't panic. I'll teach you what all this mean one after the other. Okay, so let's get closer to these files. We say Vector Smart file. This is the main file which I uploaded the first file, which is this one over here. So if I unhide it with the I button, we won't be able to see it again. So this is the main part of this work. Even if you unhide it, nothing happens. But this is where you place your work, this particular one. So anywhere you see place your design here, just click on it. You'll see that it will highlight on the element itself. But if you unhide it, it won't hide because this is not where this design is rendered. I'm going to show you in a couple of moments. So if you want to render this, all of these other ones are the adjustments to the light effect and the rest of the things. You can just adjust the things. As you are unhiding, you'll be seeing some of the effects that are applying. As you see, the embossment is reduced a little when we unhide these embossed effects, the first level embossed effects. We can also collapse this to see all of the elements that are nested under a particular folder. So we have embossed folder, which is all of this data. So if we unhide this particular embossed, it automatically hide that one. If we hide this other embossed, it automatically hide the effect that makes it feel golden. So if we expand this, we are going to see the golden file, which is in one way or the other clip masked on this embossment. So an embossment is created and a gold effect is clip masked over it. We learned about clip masking some time ago when we also learned about how to create your own mockup. So if you don't have that tutorial, check on the playlist for mockup you're going to find that tutorial. So if we enable this, we are automatically making this to be a silver. So this is a silver variant of this mockup. You want it to be good, just unhide this silver, automatically the gold applies. Okay, so this is the flat texture. You can play around with some of the effects from here, unhide the ones you don't like and leave the ones you like. You can also select on the element, which is the gold itself, and reduce the opacity. Reducing the opacity means you are wanting the effect to take responsibility for the color. You were wanting your logo itself to take responsibility for its color, not the effects we find here. Let me explain that very quickly. So we have this opacity reduced to 0 or 10 or thereabout. So when we click on the file, remember I said whenever you want to place your logo, okay, let's get to our logo. Let's not waste time on this existing one. So to get to our logo, let me check one of the projects I've done for one of my clients. So Dr. Legend, I think I like that one very well. Let's click on DR. Fine. So go to logo new. We can use any of the logo from here. So let's drag this one in. But before we drag it in, we don't just drag it in here. Okay? And we don't just drag it in to just place it here. No. What we need to do here is to double click on this particular element, not clicking on this, not clicking on this, not clicking on the body. Clicking on this element that is what? This element is actually, this one here is a smart object, okay? So smart object simply means an object that can render an element and replace an existing element from the other layer. So a smart object makes it able for you to play around in two interfaces, replace an element from a different interface, and to apply to the current interface. So this is the current interface we have. If we want to replace this logo, we need to go through the smart object where this design was created. To create a smart object on an element, all you need to do is to right click and create a smart object. So if we rasterize this element, which is the logo here, rasterization means making an element flat. You can right click also and click on convert to smart object. So once you convert, you see the icon appears there, which means this element, you can play around it, like replacing it and so on. So let's go on with this one we have here. Double click on it, you see that we find the logo with a transparent background. You can also add a background so you understand what you are doing. So usually I add background. Let me paint this black. I usually add background so I see how this logo feels. Now, look what happens here. Remember, when we reduce the opacity for this gold effect, when we increase it, we don't find the white color. You see, we have white color here and we have gold at the dot here and gold at the dot here. Then we have gold here. When we increase the opacity to 100%, we see that it overrides that. It is now using the current effect from this embossment and not the effect from our logo. Now, which means you can have an effect from your logo, have it applied to this embossment and override this embossment. But if you want your logo effect to take effect, what you need to do is select on the embossment, find out where the color is rendered from, then reduce the opacity to 0. And once you reduce it to 0, as you can see from there, we now have the element itself having the color it's supposed to have. So we increase this again. We untick the, okay, fine. We increase this again to 100%. So we want to apply this particular effect. For now, we are going to come back to this existing effect. Okay, so we have the existing effect from here and we also have it here, but we don't want that existing effect from that logo. We increase it to 100% opacity. So now we have to import our logo. Remember I told you to import your logo, click on place your design here. Just click on this particular element. Then we get in there, reduce this. Then we find our logo wherever it is and we import our logo. So now we dragged in our logo. We need to arrange our logo. Make sure it's centered. You understand what I mean? Center everything according to what you already have existing. Now what you need to do is not to save it. If you save this work, look at what you're going to have in the front end. So if we save this work, we are going to have something like this, which doesn't make any sense. Do you know why we have something like this? Number one is because we have a background. So we are supposed to hide this background from here. Okay? So click on hide to hide the background. So we save again. Let's see the second problem we're going to have. So second issue we are going to have here is because we didn't remove unhide the second logo which we already applied. So what we need to do is to what? Unhide the first logo that was existing and leave this current one. By the way, you understand the concept with this logo we have over here. So since we are done with that, make sure you unhide the background also, and then we save. How to save is what? Control and S in your keyboard. Hold control the keyboard, CTRL, then S. Click on X. While you're holding on control, click on S. It will automatically save your work. Sometimes it takes a couple of seconds and your work will be populated from the front end. As you can see, we have our work populated. Now we do the same thing we did to the previous one by reducing the opacity to 0. Let's see what effect it's gonna give. So we have the embossment, but with the gold variants that we have existing from the logo. I hope you understand that. If you want to mix it together, possibly we can just increase this a little, and you see the effect we have there. Just give it a 36%, and you see the effect is a little more subtle than when it's highly increased or when it's highly reduced. So in between, I think it is nice like so. And when you're done, you can play around with the background color if you want to. So let's see if we can find the background color. This is the noise effect, the one that gives it a little bit of noise over. And here is the background. Okay, so here is the background we find. We can change the background from here. Let's see if we double click on that, if it affects. No. So let's close that down and go back to the color. So let's see what we can do from here. Double click on this layer, which is this side. Select on the color layer from here. Let's turn this black. Fine, it works perfectly well. So whatever color you want, all you need to do is to double click on the element from this area. Or let's see, to check the clip masking, it always takes us to Illustrator. Why? Because this particular element was created in Illustrator. So, but since we have the background itself, the main background, which is rendering this color that is above, all we need to do is to what? Double click on the empty space, click on color overlay, then select whatever color we want. Automatically it will come with the effect we have existing. But make sure if you are using a gold or bright logo, make sure your color go dark. Okay, your color go dark. Black will make more sense. Also, you want to go green, you go darker green, something like this. Is too light. Fine, I think this is okay too. So once you're done, the next thing, the final thing you need to do, you can play around, like I said earlier, you can play around with the rest of the things here. We talked about the embossment, removing the embossment totally if you don't want it. So once you're done, hit on Control Alternative. So Control on your keyboard and Alt in your keyboard, then click on Save. Okay, Control Alt Save, the two in between the this icon over here in your keyboard, the two buttons in between that icon, the Control and Alt, then click on Save. You save it with whatever name you want to save it with, and you hit on Save, and that will be exported. You select on whatever quality you want and save your work. Now, since we have this mockup before exported in the desktop, this can only happen when you export your mockup to be in this format, not double click on it right from the zip file itself. I mean, when you extract it, this is something else you can do. What you can do here is to save this work as PSD. So click on Control Alternative and save your work as PSD. Now, mind you, whenever you edit your work, you are done editing this work, it doesn't save automatically. So next time we click on that mockup, we won't find that exact mockup we rendered. We find the same previous one. So to get this exact mockup we rendered, all we need to do is to save this file as PSD. See the format, we are not saving it as JPG anymore. Click here, save it as PSD, save it with whatever name you want, and click on Save. When you save this, whenever you close this, open it back again, you're going to continue your work from where you stopped. I hope this helped. You find all the link for these resources and link to our platforms in the description below. Once again, my name is Manuel from Kata Studios. Do have a wonderful day.